let's see. I think the U.S. banned sales of the H20 chips in China. I believe that's the news. And NVIDIA said that they're going to take a $5.5 billion hit on that. So there's, in the short term, obviously that's negative news, right? That's brought down AMD. That honestly brought down a lot of the market. However, long term, let's just think about this real quick. NVIDIA is valued around a $2.5 trillion company, right? I mean, obviously we've come down. We used to be over 3 trillion, but the market was hot. The market's fallen off. Obviously, NVIDIA has lost market cap value, right? But for a company that big, obviously $5.5 billion is, not a little bit of money, but it's not a ton considering how big NVIDIA is, how much demand they have for the future. And honestly, just like with their future plans, I mean, they're investing $500 billion in the U.S. to produce chips. So, I mean, that's 1% of what they're simply just investing in the U.S., right? Yeah, it is pretty crazy how it affected the whole market. To me, I look at this as more of a longer term buying opportunity. I do think NVIDIA could sell off more tomorrow. I don't know. I think, again, in the short term, this may be affected. Maybe this comes back down to $100 a share. I don't know that I mean, I honestly really don't see this coming down back to 85, right, or sub 90. However, yeah, TK, exactly. The H20s, I believe that they're older chips, so it's really not that big of a deal in my eyes for the longer term aspect of this. So I don't know. That's my take on it. I would love to catch some downside movement with some day trades and then filter that those profits into longer term shares. That's honestly how I would like to look at it. So if you have other questions on that, please feel free to ask. Let me make a quick announcement here that we are live. One sec. So, hi, Carrie. How are you? I don't know. I mean, do you guys agree with that? I really do think that longer term this isn't going to be a huge issue. Just considering, I mean, those chips are going to get older and older and older. People are going to buy less and less and less of them. And with the new chips, that's obviously just going to take over the demand there because I mean, they have an unbelievable amount of demand through the next 5 to 10 years already. So that's my take on it. But good question, though. What's up, Brecco? What's up, Farouk? Farouk. Is that better? Sorry, it's not a common name. Come on, you got to give me some slack here. Hope your day was good, though. It's not a bad plan. Today was honestly a very choppy, slow day, to be honest with you. And then we got some news here after hours that I'm sure you saw with NVIDIA. So that brought the whole market down. That brought SPY down roughly 4 points. So not the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. So I believe the U.S. was like banning the sales of H200 or H20 chips or whatever. Yeah, I think it's H20. Yeah, kind of. But if they're going to invest 500 billion here, then they got to shift. But overall, a very interesting day. To me, I thought NVIDIA looked really good off the open, and then the momentum died out really, really quick. And maybe people knew this was coming, right? Maybe that's why this didn't really find much strength throughout the day, even though the market looked all right. But definitely some opportunity for some downside tomorrow, I think. It's more of like a scalp kind of trade to me. It's not something I'm trying to buy puts on and hold for the rest of the week. I do think this will Soon be bought up. 100 shares at 88. That is awful. Yeah, you can't be too worried about that at all. That is an unbelievable average. Very, very good job on that. Yeah, no, you literally caught the bottom. I mean, you missed it by like 5 points, but still, that is a well, and even the bottom was really pre-market, so that was one hell of an entry there, Webbit. Anyone on YouTube or X, you guys can ask questions as well. I am listening and watching. I think of Bull. Yeah, so to me, like my game plan on Bull this morning was just to see if it had momentum. Very simple. I didn't really want to short it. I was looking more so for another upside move. I wanted to see, kind of like some continuation, like Inmax did. But honestly, looking at this, it was like day one, open, pretty decent move. Day two, rip. Day three, sell off. You kind of got the same thing on Bull. So that's what I was basing it off of, even though that would mean, Ethan, you should have been looking short. I was more so inclined to just sit back and wait and see if there was any crazy buying pressure to rip this up. I do think the ticker symbol itself could come into play as well. I mean, ticker's Bull. So, I mean, I was kind of more so looking for an upside trade. Maybe we got one, maybe 2 more days out of this, but it looks like it's going to start dying off here. Yeah, and IPOs, there's never options because the company is so new. But yeah, very, very interesting. So, what do I think of Bull? I don't think much. I think that if volume dies out, it just doesn't have enough attention, it'll slowly just kind of start coming down. If maybe a news catalyst comes out, or if this picks up crazy volume and starts ripping, or maybe a hedge fund buys it publicly or whatever, and this rips back up, sure, maybe there's going to be a trade there. However, it's not something that I'm going to be like super hyper focused on until it, shows me that it wants to make some big moves. Yesterday was really the day to trade it. How can a call option have a bearish sentiment if the current price is lower than the strike price? For instance, SMC has a whale call option at 45 strike expiring in 31 days, but the news said it's bearish even though the stock itself is at 32. Well, do you know if they bought the calls or sold the calls? So if I think a stock is going to go down, one thing that you could do is sell calls. And that's a kind of a fancy way to short it. There's other strategies that go on with that, obviously. But if you saw some sort of order flow or some option flow, fast Subi, and it showed bearish, right? Like, some flow softwares will have like bullish or bearish on it. If it showed bearish, that to me means that they sold the calls and not bought them. If they bought them, they'd want it to go up, right? But if they sold them, then obviously they're basically selling contracts that they think are going to lose a bunch of value, and then they make money that way. Do you think when Discord IPO is released, it'll pick up? Oh, 100%. I think Discord will be a very, very crazy IPO. I just, have you heard anything about that, Web? I've heard that for 3 or 4 years that they're going to IPO. I just haven't seen it yet. When does Ticker qualify for options trading? Yeah, I think it does take. Typically, it takes a month or two. I feel like, but it varies. It's just kind of whenever the options dealers want to either make or lose money on it. Let's see here. SFCI, we observe a call option sweep with bearish sentiment. Expires 31 days on March 16. 5 parties traded 475 contracts to 45 strikes. Particular call needed to be split into 4 different trades. Would be filled. Total cost by the writing party. Okay, so the writing party means they sold it. It's 31.8K with a price of 67 per contract. There were 9,000 open contracts strike today. Yeah, so to me, that means that they sold the contract. They did not buy them, so that would be bearish. I've not know. Yeah, it's just been speculations for, honestly, for years. Not that I know of for minimum requirements. Obviously, you're going to want enough volume on the stock, enough attention. Maybe even a big enough market cap kind of thing, but I don't know the specifics. Let's look it up. I mean, I think that's something we should all know. When does an IPO get options typically? Let's see here. Options on newly listed stock typically not immediately available. They usually become available at least 3 business days after the IPO, and sometimes it takes 30 to 60 days or even longer. Exchanges determine the exact timing for option availability. So minimum 3 days. Exchanges have the final say on when options trading will start on a newly listed stock. A quiet period, often lasting 25 days after the IPO, is observed by investment banks, which can also impact the timing of option availability. Only sometimes, Farouk. That hurts, man. That hurts. You got another question? Let's hear it. Austin on Mondays. Okay. Yeah, Fast Subi for sure. I do not trade like that myself. I do not. Typically, I have a one-way bias, but I always, if things do change direction and I, go from wanting to buy calls to, maybe negative news coming out and I switch and start buying puts. It's a very rare occasion for me to do that, but I typically have a very well thought out plan to one direction. So, one last question is selling a put option contract to cover the contract and release the collateral. Are you only losing the difference between what you bought it to the price the option contract is currently at? Yeah. So, I mean, if you buy a put, if you're saying, I think I know what you're saying, but you're saying if you buy a contract, let's say you buy it for $200 and it's a put, and that that contract loses value and it goes $150, and then you sell it, you only lose $50. Right? If you bought it for 200 and sell it for 150, is that what you're asking? It's hard to get over that bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a bullish or bearish trader. Honestly, I like trading the downside more. I just typically have a certain setup that I like, whether it's up or down, just depending on the day, the stock, everything. And I want to trade it that direction. If it goes the opposite way, then that wasn't toward my plan. I'm never bullish or bearish or anything. Like if I say, I want to see Tesla break 250 to the upside and I want to buy calls, that doesn't necessarily mean that I know Tesla's going to go up or I'm bullish on the stock as a whole. It simply means if Tesla goes up and does this, this, and this, I'm looking to buy calls for breakthrough 250. Targets are here, stop losses here, kind of thing. It's not so much that I have any sort of bullish or bearish like opinion on the stock. It's just a setup, a trade idea that I'm looking at from a technical standpoint that I want to capitalize on. Like if the premium is at $50 when you buy it, and let's say the ticker drops, so the premium is now at 100. You want to exit the contract. You have to buy it at 100. Oh, when selling a put. Sorry, I thought you meant when you bought it. So when you sell it, yeah, because you're selling it for $50, wanting it to go down, right? Wanting it to lose value. And if it goes up to 100, then yeah, you just got to pay $100, and you then lose $50 on that trade. Yeah, you lose the difference. And obviously, if that's one contract, if you buy 5 contracts, you got to 50 times 5. Yeah. So selling, right, when you're shorting a stock, you want it to go down, you want it to lose value. When you're selling an option contract, you're wanting it to go down, you're wanting to lose value, right? It's the same thing. So back to those SMCI calls that I think it was Fast Subi that mentioned it. People executed calls, right? Typically, a lot of people that don't know a whole lot about options, they think calls go up, puts go down. Well, a lot of the times that's the case. But if you do the opposite and you sell calls, that's just almost the same thing as buying puts, just a little bit different. You're selling, contracts that if people were buying them, they think it's going to go up in value. But if you're selling them, you think it's going to go down in value. So if SMCI is at $32 and I'm selling the 45 strike calls, well, in 30 days, when that comes to expiration and we're not up there at 45 or whatever, those are going to be worth $0. So if I sell them for $100 a piece and they're worth $0, well, I pick up $100 a contract. But if SMCI has crazy news and goes from 32 to 65, well, I could be underwater a lot more than what I put in. I could have shorted $10,000 worth of them, and that may be worth $100,000 in premium. So I just lost $90,000, even though I only sold $10,000 worth of contracts. Does that make sense? That's why selling and shorting things is risky. I was going to sell calls rather than just buy the puts because of the chance of rally the premium. But yeah, it's to their discretion. Yeah, there are Greeks in play, right? There's time decay. Those contracts will really start to pick up the loss of value the closer you get to expiration. And maybe if those get to expiration, they could then exercise that contract and short shares from $45. You know what I mean? If they want to exercise that, they then have the right to sell shares at $45, even though the stock is at 32. So there's just different strategies, different opinions. And who knows, right? That could be a really experienced trader. That could be a really inexperienced trader who just learned how to sell contracts and thought there's no way SMCI gets at $45. I'm going to sell some. UAL did good on earnings. Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah, airlines have been doing decently well. I know banks have been doing decently well too. Yeah, nice little pop there. Yeah, unless you extend the contract from rolling it over, right? If it comes to expiration, you can roll the contract over, or you can exercise the contract for the shares that you have the rights to if you have enough capital. Sam Hales took a small L on puts today. Yeah, today was a hard trading day for sure. 24 hours to live. What's my trading strategy? I'm more of a scalp, like day trader. I day trade the mega cap stocks. So like typically Tesla, NVDA, Meta, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, stuff like that. And I trade weekly options on those. So done it for a little over 6 years. And yeah, we're live in Discord too. So if you're ever interested in that, the link should be going across the bottom of the screen here for you to join and check it out. There's a free side to it. I buy options. I don't sell options, as in shorting them on a long options, if that makes sense. Yeah. Deep sea mining plays waking up. Oh yeah, what are some tickers, Doc? Oh, these are the ones that you talked about. Didn't you talk about them today? Dude, did you buy some of these? Well, Omex went crazy. TMC didn't do a whole lot, but Omex, wow. Very interesting. What's the play there? What are they mining for? Yeah, 24 hours on YouTube. Yeah, market's been pretty weak, especially with the NVDA news after hours today. We're down quite a bit. Nothing spectacular, but cobalt and copper, interesting. What put you on these trades? This is a pretty solid move here. Wow. Counterplay to China. Nice, man. Well, that's a great thinking. Tesla at 170 a share. That's a tough one. I don't know if we're going to see sub 200, but I would love to buy long-term stock down there. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's a macroeconomic trade. That's interesting. Those are the kind of trades that like hedge funds and stuff want to come up with. So maybe you have a future in a trading firm or something. You come up with those on the regular. Make a lot of money, my friend. Can you go over a trade you did today or yesterday? I didn't take any trades yesterday. Today, I took a very small loss on the NVIDIA. It was kind of like a starter position kind of trade. The NVIDIA was really, really strong off the open here, and they had that news about investing the 500 billion in the U.S. So once I saw this, to me, it was like one of the strongest names across the board. So on this first pullback here in the VWAP, I started buying around like 111.80 cents, 111.70 cents. So I bought some, I think it was like the 115 calls, very cheap contracts, just like bought it just a little bit to see if we can get a bounce back up to the high of the day. And then once we broke on a VWAP, I just stopped out right there. So very, very small trade. That was it. Like a nothing trade pretty much. I think in total I lost $6. So it wasn't much by any means. But yeah, that was it. I've been pretty quiet lately just because the market's been so whiplashy. See, back over here on YouTube. Yeah, that was a big, or on Discord, that was a big brain move for sure. That's awesome, man. 100% gain on Omex. That is awesome. Seriously, correct me. But for the people who don't know, scalp is trading in the beginning of the day. Swing is trading during the day, week or longer. So, okay, a couple of things there. So, scalp and day trading are kind of the same thing. Scalp trading is like when you're in and out in a couple minutes, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Day trading is really just buying and selling within the same day. That could be 10 minutes, that could be 2 hours, that could be 5 hours, that could be from market open to market close. Swing trading is typically holding at least overnight. And obviously, long-term investing is long-term investing, typically over a year. Swing trading could be, holding overnight or holding for, 200 days out of the year, right? Forex is Forex is not minerals and metals. Forex is trading currencies. So that's like the US dollar against the yen or the US dollar against the euro. You're trading the difference in the currency pairs. And then trading minerals and like metals, gold, silver, wheat, hogs, corn, whatever, that's commodities trading. So Yeah. Any tips for someone that likes to swing trade? I like to get in and hold for a few days or so. Yeah, so we have some swing trading coaching over here in the chat, 24 hours live. And we there's lessons, there's live tradings, there's signals, just about everything. Right now, the market's tough for swing traders, right? I mean, right now is a perfect example. If you're holding calls overnight on NVDA and this news comes out, you get crushed. If Trump tweets, if Trump does something with China, if China retaliates with tariffs, if anything happens, right? Holding stuff overnight is really risky right now, unless it's a long-term investment, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if the market's going to go up, market's going to go down, market's going to stay flat overnight. Like, anything can happen. So that's why swing trading right now is tough. And honestly, I've been pretty small day trading as well. Things are just moving all over the place. If nothing meets my criteria, I'm experienced enough to just not force anything, right? I'll make a lot of money when the market's right for me. When it's slow, my job is to not give money back. So any tips for someone? Let's see, what indicators to watch for? I just use the VWAP, the middle VWAP, and I use volume. VWAP is VWAP, volume weighted average price. But yeah, anyone else on Discord? What do you got for me? Stickman, did you trade today? Carrie, what about you? Beer Man, what's up? You trade anything? Plays, good to see you here. Anyone can. I mean, this is y'all's chance, guys. We're already halfway through, so make the most of it. I only do this once a week. Still working on the house. So I hope that's coming along well, Carrie. Yeah, Breckle, me too. Honestly, it's been kind of weird. That's great, Carrie. I'm so glad. Tried trading test and spy. Both hit my stop loss. Yeah, tough day today, Scott. But just a hard day to trade. So I'm just hoping y'all are sizing down and being very very careful and selective with your trades, though. Not just throwing trades out there because you feel like you're not doing anything. 90% of this stuff is waiting, right? It's not clicking buy and sell. It's not always having money in the market from a day trading standpoint. No trades for you today? Yeah, slow day. Not a whole lot going on. Kenny Penny lucked out for y'all on Discord. Kenny Penny's on YouTube, and looks like you're gonna be pretty happy in the morning holding NVIDIA puts overnight. That's pretty awesome. Other than your indicators, are you only using support and resistance and price action? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, I keep up with the news, but I'm not looking at balance sheets. I'm not looking at cash flow statements. I'm not looking at profit and loss statements. I'm not a fundamental trader at all. I focus on price action. What's the market telling me? What's the market showing me? And just trading support and resistance. That's about it. Keep it very simple. And yeah, that's just what works for me. May not work for you, may not work for anyone, but at the end of the day, our job is to try to get you to the point where you found your niche of trading and you stick to it. I caught a little bit of it. Yeah, for sure. Any of you free guys that are in the Discord, we do have a 5-day free trial going. I know I may seem repetitive on this, but I want to make sure everyone at least gets a chance to check it out. Here's the link for it. So no credit card, no nothing. Whenever you sign up. So 1 second, guys. Do I do trend lines? Yeah, I do. Here's a trend line right here on the video that I drew today. Right there. It's the orange one. I do use trend lines. It's just kind of a form of support resistance. What, if anything, am I watching tomorrow? Definitely going to be watching a video with this news. I think that if the market also complements this and it's weak as well, that there may be a good downside trade tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not live trading. That's only the Wednesdays are the only mornings that I don't do that for free or premium. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll throw a watch list out in the morning for you premium guys. Definitely NVIDIA downside. Other than that, wanting to see if the overall market recovers. If the market's really strong and recovering fast, I'll probably stay away from shorting NVIDIA. Maybe even buying it. I don't know. But we'll have to just see where we are in the morning, right? I mean, at this point, Trump could come out and say it's fake news that we're making the video do that. We could be back at 115. So let's see what else. Thoughts on letting export resistance being retested for confirmation? Yeah, break and retest are some of my favorite trades plays. I love break and retest. I think they offer very solid entries and a very, very good risk to reward. I take break and retest trades all the time. Where it breaks through a resistance or support, retest it. That's kind of where I'm starting to buy in on the retest and then seeing if it could go back in my favor. How do you know what VWAP to use? Because these both VWAP have two different info. So I would say like the top one is just VWAP. The bottom one's VWAP band. So you have the upper, middle, and lower. I don't do that. I just have the middle. So how do you know? So sorry. What does the personalized coaching consist of? So you're going to get like your own special chat with me. I have coaching lessons every Thursday night. Pretty much you're just going to have a lot more of like my undivided attention for anything that you need. It's obviously like one of our lower ticket items, right? So, you're not going to get access to like one-on-one calls with me because that's going to be for the lifetime members, but you're going to get access to a ton of recorded lessons that I have. So, I mean, I probably have like 30 or 40 recorded lessons where I have like a PowerPoint up, go over a specific topic. Nowadays, since I've recorded a ton of that stuff, I just have, personalized lessons with my students, right? So I get on here just like this, but we kind of go through one by one. We just really dive into anything you're struggling with or doing good with. But yeah, honestly, just a ton of educational stuff, and then a lot of my undivided attention. I spend 90% of my time in my coaching chat rather than free chat, premium chat, anything like that. So that's the gist of it. But I can get you kind of a written out thing so you have that as well. So I think it's only $40 a month, so it's not crazy at all. And then premium, that's where you get coaching is included with premium, and then you get access to all the other coaches and stuff like that. So coaching is just kind of the entry for some people to kind of get their feet under them, have some time with the coaches. So, you're kind of ready to go. And then we get you to the point where that monthly subscription is nothing. Because, you got to think at this point, do you rather keep losing to the market or would you rather, yeah, there is Breckle. Yeah. So like D1, I don't know what style of trading you want, right? So like for me, like I'm the day trading coach. Okay. I don't know if you already knew this or not, so I should have mentioned that. But I'm the day trading coach, right? So Mad Maverick, he's going to be for the swing trading guys. So he does a little bit longer term stuff. Then there's Swinging Bull. He does like passive options income stuff. So he's doing like spreads and stuff where he just kind of sits back and makes passive money. That's what he's really good at. And then you'll have the other guy, Pookie's Revenge. He basically does it all. He's an animal. So, but yeah, there is a like a screening that we do to kind of place you in the right one. It's not just me. Do you mark the wick or the candle? I mark the wick. 24 hours. That's what I do. Time frame you stay on for trading. Typically, when I'm charting, I will look. I'll look on like the 1 year, 1 day chart. I'll look on the 4-hour chart, and then when I'm actually entering and exiting a trade, I'm on the 1 minute, 2 minute, or 5 minute chart. Yeah, there's just so much stuff. Do you ever go with small accounts for day trading? I do. That's typically where people start. If you're gonna start kind of like day trading with me, obviously I don't want you to like just lose your initial capital if you're very new to it. So I would suggest like paper trading. So one, you don't lose, money to the markets when you're still learning, but two, to a typical starter account for me, I would say is $500 to $1,000. Thanks, Mad Maverick. This is the swing trading coach here, guys, for you D1 if you're interested in that as well. Yeah, search sleep, something like that. But yeah, check this out, guys. We're doing an in-person meetup. It's going to be our second one, and we're doing it in Chicago this year, so it's going to be awesome. Going to get to meet all of us in person. It was really fun last year. Is there a lifetime membership or is it monthly? Yeah, there is a lifetime membership. And I believe you can do a payment plan on it as well. 24 hours to live. Love the name. You you need to hop in our Discord here so we can chat a little bit easier. Just look up discord.gg/pennyboys, and that should get you in. And then get a free roll, and then whatever your name is, just you can do @Ethan, and you can find me in the free lobby chat, and I can help you from there as well if you're familiar with Discord. Yeah. Yeah, you got to think like coaching is our entry level. So you just upgrade from there. 24 hours, you're in Chicago and law enforcement, so you need anything? Yeah, heck yeah, man. Well, again, I want to get you here in the Discord. You need to download that app. So that's just where like basically 99% of our stuff goes on. So I don't want to lose you here off YouTube. So for one, everything's recorded. D1, everything's recorded. So regardless if you miss it, you can go back and watch the lesson. But I typically do it at this exact same time. So I do it at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. That's just when like my lesson is that it's kind of what I'm doing right now, but a little more detailed. And you'll get all the older lessons that I have recorded as well. Cool. Yeah. Well, if you here, D1, go ahead and add me as a friend, just so I can message you, and also so you know it's not a scammer, Ethan, because we have a ton of people that make fake accounts for the coaches. So that'll just at least make sure that you won't have a scam. And I'll just go ahead and send you the coaching link, so you have that. Screening for stocks. So I don't necessarily screen, but I do. I can teach you how I build my watch list. I have a lesson also recorded on kind of just how I start my morning, what news accounts I look for, what where I go for my earnings stuff, all the Twitter accounts that I use for news. Honestly, just kind of a rundown on my morning routine. So you'll get access to that as well. D1, I just sent you that link there for coaching. Um, Yeah, but I'm just not much of a screeners guy. But yeah, so Mad Maverick here, he has screeners. I think Bull has screeners as well. I know Pookie's Revenge uses screeners. And we also, I think we have a custom screener also from Big Quinch, the owner here. And Mad Maverick also has a new indicator out, guys, as well. Lee, if you wanna plug that link in here, go for it. But we're kind of like human screeners for y'all, if that makes sense. We find the trade ideas that we like and we trade them live, give the signals, stuff like that. It all just kind of depends on what style you want. Do you want do you want in and out day trades? Well, then you probably got to be, in the live streams, listening very carefully, stuff like that. Being able to enter and exit fast. You can't necessarily be at work on your phone and miss it by 10 minutes because the trade's probably over. Then you have swing trading with Mad Maverick here, and all that. But we have all sorts of different styles, from short term to longer term stuff. But when I'm day trading, I know how I wish I would have learned, and it was if someone would just walk me through the trade. What are you looking at and why? Okay, when are you entering and why? What are you thinking throughout the trade and why? And when you're selling and why? Right. So I literally walk. People kind of make the joke like I'm an auctioneer or like I'm a sports announcer, because I'm literally walking you through every second. I'm kind of thinking out loud. So yeah, thanks, Stick Man. I can honestly agree with that. I mean, there's so many different alerts here. So what's up, NBA? Good to see you. Santi, glad you made it as well. You got about 15 or so minutes here left, guys. So don't be shy. Get your time in. I got to run right after this is done, though. So I can't stick around forever tonight. Yeah, they're always fun. It's the name of the game. Oh, Dizzle, 76. What's happening? Tell me something good. What's up, the doctor? Have we heard from Just the Tip in a while? I don't know if I've heard him in here. In a week or so. Yeah, he's Mr. Dip By, so hopefully he's still loading up and not too far underwater. Tried to warn him though. Oh, good. Okay. Plays, you got any other questions, my man? Kenny Penny, I see you in here. That's good. Shin, Carrie, anything? I know you've kind of been MIA because you're working, but you haven't missed a whole lot, to be honest with you. Yeah. What's up, Rollin? That's great, man. Well, I hope you had a good work day. I've been nonstop all day. Thursday or Tuesdays I have a lot, and Thursdays I have a lot. But yeah, so no live trading tomorrow, but we are going to have a. I'm doing well, actually, I don't know if I'm doing an earnings stream tomorrow. I think maybe Bull is taking care of that. But yeah, lots of stuff's going on, man. I mean, market is just up and down and up and down. It just doesn't know where to go. So I want you guys to make sure you're being safe. I want you all to reach out with any sort of questions or concerns or struggles or positives or anything that you guys are going through. It's, you know, it's our job to help you, but it's tough to reach out to every single person and get them to speak up. So, you know, get the most out of this, guys. This is where you're going to get better. This is where like the real work gets put in, is after market close, reviewing trades, journaling trades, talking about trade ideas, talking about news, trading confidence, and how to commit a trade. Any pointers? Yeah. So I mean, confidence really just, people go have upswings and downswings with confidence, right? A lot of that has to do with winning streaks and then losing streaks, or making money then losing money, right? So it's a mental barrier that a lot of new traders struggle with, because no one, this is the only job in the world where if you mess up, you lose money, right? If you mess up at a normal day-to-day job, it doesn't mean, you know, typically it doesn't mean your paycheck's going to get reduced, right? So it's very hard mentally. But you have to kind of keep a long-term approach to this and look for consistency. No one's ever going to win every single time, and no one's ever going to lose every single time. So plays, I think me and you were talking today. The easiest thing for me to do, and the best thing that I did for myself to force myself to just not so much like get too worried or too emotional or too confident and too fearful in a trade, is simply just to have things written out, to have a very well thought out plan. You know, write down the trade idea, write down your entry, write down your exit, write down where you want your stop loss to be, write down the position size you're looking to go in with, write down how much you're willing to lose, write down why you're taking the trade, write down, you know, what price action you're looking to see. And I know that this stuff may be a little advanced, but you'll get to that point. And the more that you work on that kind of stuff and work on your process, the less and less you're going to have emotions toward the trade. Okay. So, you know, a lot of new traders, they'll enter a position, they'll just stare at their P&L, right? They're not even really looking at the chart and looking at what the market's telling you. They're just looking to see if they're up money or down money. And that's what's going to hurt you the most, is because you're not necessarily trading. You're simply just buying, almost gambling, right? Pretty much you're just gambling. So I think that'll help you a lot with your confidence. And just, you know, if you're sizing up too big and you have a big win and you're super hyped and you're super confident, then you size up even more and take a big loss, well, then you're just going to have a huge emotional swing. So then you're not going to trade well. Well, what's the fix to that? The fix is sizing down to a comfortable position size, right? If you're not comfortable losing $100, well, you need to size down and maybe position yourself that a $50 loss makes sense, one, on the chart, and two, you're comfortable losing that amount on that trade. And then it's just a system, right? It's not just blindly buying something, hoping to make money, and also having the mindset that you're going to make money. One of the best traders that I know, he would tell new guys, you know, y'all are so worried about losing money, right? Well, you need to get to the point where you've accepted loss before you even get in the trade, right? So then if you're like, you know, I don't care if I lose, I'm going to stick to my plan and do what I had thought out and written out, and then you just execute. So it either goes in your favor and you get out where you said you were going to get out and you make money, or you get in and it hits your stop loss and you get out, but you've already accepted a win or a loss, It's simply just executing to your plan, then you're golden. Yeah, all good, Shin. It was good. Very busy day. Yeah, I mean, Raw, it's been tough, man. Market's been tough. I've been very sidelined recently. Very, very sidelined, which sucks because I mean, obviously I'm not making as much money as I typically am, but I'm also not losing much, if anything, right? I mean, my wins are still outweighing any losses, but my trade count is very, very down. So I'm still green. But sometimes I'm getting one good trade a week. But if I'm careful and I'm disciplined and I'm not taking any big losses or forcing any crazy trades throughout the week, and then a good trade comes around and boom, I execute it, I make money. That's such a good feeling, because not only were you disciplined and patient enough and didn't take stupid trades and lose money for no reason, you proved to yourself that you can execute when things do exactly what you want. If we can all survive all this chop, we should bid well and better. Yeah, 100%. Right now, guys, I would honestly rather you take no trades. I mean, I know we all want to make money, but we also don't want to lose money, right? So think about it that way. What can you lose, or compared to what can you make? It's very hard to make money right now, and it can be very easy to lose it in this environment. So right now, honestly, like what Kenny Penny just said, I'm just looking to survive. If I don't make a penny, if I don't lose a penny, I'm happy, because I know when the market comes back up and we get some bullish momentum in the market, or just clean direction in general, whether it's up or down, I can then take advantage of it and I can make all the money back that I've just kind of been passing on for a while. So it's the long term. I mean, and we're not even halfway through the year yet, guys. So there's no reason to blow up in the first half when maybe the second half of the year is golden and you can make a ton of money, right? Because then you're just digging yourself out of a hole. I was down to 100 and got back up to 130 positive, and then made a bad trade, and it lost 500. Well, to me, Ron, obviously I'm not trying to be rude or critical at all. To me, it just seems that you're over trading, right? It looks like your losses are bigger than your wins. So that means that your profit targets either aren't far enough, or you're cutting things a little short, and then you're letting losers run against you too far. So that's something that we can work on together. I'm more than happy to help you out, my man. We are friends on Discord, so I'll go ahead and I'll DM you here in a little bit, or reach out to me and we can get talking, because it's a simple fix, but it may take a little bit of time. It's a lot of it is just mental, and then back to just planning, having a right plan. One thing that hurt me a lot in the beginning was over trading. Right? I would take 4, 5, 6 trades a day, and when I would do that, maybe I win half, lose half, but maybe my losers outweighed my winners, right? So if I could take one good trade a day, whether that's a win or loss, but I take one good trade every single day, or 3 good trades every single week, then boom, my probability of winning on those good trades is up, which means my probability of being green in general is up, right? What's up, Fulcrum? We got about about 3 to 5 minutes left, guys. So get any last minute questions, and we'll wrap things up here. I got a lot to do tonight, so I want to get to work. I'm gonna say the same to you, Fulcrum. I don't know what you're talking about with me. Yeah, I should have stopped when I was up, because I didn't like what I was seeing in the market. Yeah, this is just not a market that you want to over trade in at all. It's very, very tricky. Things look like they're strong. 5 minutes later, they look like they're weak, and then vice versa. So just take things slow. Maybe drop your trade count down. Maximum 2 trades a day. That would have saved you today. Obviously every day is different, but also you could size down more, right? Maybe look to make $50 and lose 20. Just nickel and dime your way through this market right now. What do you think you're going to have with the video after the news? I think that in the short term, this could easily come down tomorrow some more, especially if the market's weak. But then again, Ron, I was talking about this earlier. Who knows if Trump comes out tonight and says that's fake news, or says that he's repealing that, or changes it, or whatever, right? It's hard for me to say. I want to see where this is in the morning. I think that maybe this could come down and see $100 again. I just don't know. But so far, it's obviously pretty negative, right? You see the market gapping down. You see NVIDIA down about 7 points here after hours. So it's definitely not positive news at the moment. Yeah, whatever we think doesn't matter at this point. It's simply just reacting. Typically, I'll have some trade ideas at night that I'll go into tomorrow with, but right now, to me, that's just almost pointless because things change overnight so much recently. It's just so crazy. So I don't like giving out, these like plans to people that may blindly get up in the morning and try to take that trade when things are completely different. I think in a few months things could pick up, maybe even a few weeks, right? We just don't know. But to me, tariff stuff is slowing down. Market's kind of going flat. To me, that could be a sign of a bottom, but that doesn't mean that I'm just blindly buying calls or buying a ton of shares or anything like that. I still have some cash on the side to buy some more longer term equities, and that's about it. I have been buying some of the dips, money moves. Yeah, I bought NVIDIA, I bought Tesla, I bought Amazon, and I bought Google. Heavier in Tesla and NVIDIA, though. I want to buy some snow as well, I think. My average is, I think, like 108 or 109. So it's not ideal, but I was still looking to buy lower if I could on that. And it just, when things bounce really, really hard, I just kept that cash on the side just in case things come down like this. So, if I see NVIDIA back down to $100 a share or under $100, I would love to buy some more. But yeah, you guys check out that post that anyone that just showed up from Mad Maverick on Traders Paradise, guys. Love to see all there. The tickets are going quick. So yeah, Snow is at a good point. Where can you get a personal coach? So I mean, all of us are coaches, coaching every day. Money moves. I'll go ahead and I'll send you my coaching link. I just DM'd it to you, and you could check that out. But obviously, it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to do day trading? Do you want to do swing trading? Do you want to do passive option stuff? It's typically where you want to have at least $5,000 in your account. But I'm the day trading coach. I'll take care of you. Awesome. Yeah, cash account's where you want to be. Sweet. Well, me and you will talk more in the DMs about that. I got to run here pretty soon. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a good start for you. I'll make sure you get all set up. I'll make sure that OG Nikki, kind of like our HR customer support lady, will kind of walk you through the chat, make sure that you know how everything works. And yeah, man, I'm excited to have you. So I sent you that link for you to sign up whenever you're ready, and we'll go from there. But you'll get a ton of, whenever you sign up, you're going to get access to like 20 or 30 recorded lessons from me. So you'll get a lot of stuff to take in when you start. So be ready to put your head down and get to work, my man. Yeah, definitely take notes. There's nothing better than knowing how to trade. I can tell you that. Thanks, Kenny Penny. You as well. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. So thank y'all so much for being here tonight. It's always fun. I always love this stream. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. If you need anything else, just add me as a friend and then at me in the chat. So I know I will never DM you first. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you to copy trade with me. That's all scammers. Look at my account in the chat room. Make sure my username matches up. Don't fall for a scam. Okay. All right, guys, have a good one. Good night.